Okay, so something huge is happening right now in the world of farming, and it's all centered on those giant machines, the ones that literally feed the planet. What's so wild is we're seeing a story of two totally different worlds playing out at the same time. One is in a state of crisis, and the other, it's seeing absolutely explosive growth. So, what's behind this great divide? Let's break it down.
And it all kicks off with this number, a negative $6.5 billion. That's the drop in net farm income right here in the US. And listen, this isn't just some number on a spreadsheet. This is a full-blown financial earthquake. It's the tremor that's setting off a perfect storm for American farmers and, of course, for the companies that build all their gear.
All right, here's how we're going to tackle this. We'll start with the perfect storm, then dive into the American downturn. After that, we'll look at India's incredible machinery boom, the game-changing right-to-repair revolution, and finally, what this all means for the future of farming.
So first up, a perfect storm. And we call it that for a reason. This isn't just one single problem. It's a powerful combination of factors, all slamming the industry at the exact same time. Just think about it for a second. The prices farmers are getting for their crops, they're dropping. But the cost to borrow money for a new tractor? Sky high. And to top it all off, the technology is moving so fast that perfectly good machines are becoming obsolete almost overnight. It's a real pressure cooker situation. Now, this storm is hitting the United States particularly hard. It's what experts are calling a cyclical bottom. Basically, it's that part of the cycle where the market has pretty much hit rock bottom before it can even think about recovering. And wow, the impact is just stark. I mean, just look at the sales for the biggest, most expensive machines. We're talking large tractors. Sales have plunged 35%. And combines, those enormous harvesters, they're down a jaw-dropping 45%. It really just goes to show you, right? When farmers' incomes take a nosedive, these huge, pricey investments are the very first thing to get put on hold. The financial strain is just immense. A new high-end tractor can set you back over $700,000. And with today's interest rates, trying to finance that is a massive risk. So what are we seeing? More farmers defaulting on their loans. And because so many people are trying to offload their old gear, the used equipment market is flooded, which means their trade-ins are suddenly worth way less than they were expecting.
This quote, it just says it all, doesn't it? After farmers pay for the basics, living expenses, taxes, many of them are actually in the red. There is simply no money left. Zero capacity to take on more debt for a new machine. It's a full-stop moment for the whole industry.
But while the US market is really struggling, a completely different story is unfolding halfway across the world. In India, it's not a downturn, it's a story of explosive growth and innovation. The contrast between these two markets is just night and day. In the US, you've got a market hitting rock bottom. Sales are falling, and there's intense credit strain. But in India, you see rapid expansion, over 8% annual growth, and it's often supercharged by government subsidies. It's honestly like two different worlds. And the scale of this boom is just massive. India's farm machinery market is on track to hit nearly $20 billion in 2026. This isn't some small niche market anymore. It is quickly becoming a global powerhouse for agricultural tech. So what's behind all this growth? Well, it's a few key things. First, there's a serious shortage of farm labor, which is pushing farms to mechanize. The government is also helping out, actively encouraging this with subsidies. And here's the crucial part. Since about 80% of farms in India are small, the market isn't really built on ownership. It's all about innovative rental models. And a key piece of that puzzle is this concept of custom hiring centers, or CHCs. Seriously, think of it like Uber, but for tractors. A small-scale farmer who could never, ever afford to buy their own combine can now just rent one for a day. They get access to cutting-edge technology on a pay-per-use basis. It is a total game-changer. Okay, so we've got the US downturn and the Indian boom. Now let's throw a major plot twist into the mix. And this one's happening back in the United States. It's a legal revolution that is completely changing the rules of who actually gets to fix these high-tech machines. And things moved incredibly fast here. In 2025 and into 2026, a federal bill called the Farm Act really started gaining steam. But the real bombshell dropped on February 2nd, 2026. That's when the EPA made a landmark decision that almost overnight gave farmers and their local mechanics a ton of new legal power. So here's the crucial part.
For years, big manufacturers argued that because of the Clean Air Act, they couldn't give farmers access to the software needed to fix modern engines. The EPA finally stepped in and basically said, nope, that's not a valid excuse. They clarified that emissions laws cannot be used as a shield to block repairs. Period.
This has two huge consequences. First, farmers now have the legal right to bypass those emission systems for an emergency fix. And second, and this is a big one, manufacturers now have to sell the same diagnostic tools, software, and parts to farmers and independent shops that they provide to their own official dealerships. This shatters the monopoly on repair, and it could have massive ripple effects across other industries, from cars to our phones.
So, for our final section, let's pull all these different threads together, the tech, the policy, the global markets, and see what the future of this industry really looks like.
The key tensions shaping the future are becoming pretty clear. In the US, all the focus is on high-end autonomy and this big battle over ownership versus the right to repair. But in markets like India, the tech is focused on different problems, like logistics and predicting crop yields, while the business model is all about pay-per-use rentals. We're looking at two fundamentally different visions for the future of farming tech.
And that leaves us with this final critical question. As technology makes these machines smart enough to drive themselves, but new laws make them open enough for anyone to fix, who's really holding the power? Is it the manufacturer who builds the code, or is it the farmer who owns the land and now finally has the right to repair? The answer to that is going to define the next generation of farming.